Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is time right now for another installment of everyone's favorite short show on the internet. This is Storytime with Jimmy, where you get to hear stories from the long and illustrious career of longtime WWE referee Jimmy Korderas. I hope you've poured yourself a cup of coffee and you're ready to sit around and listen to a tale or two. And Jimmy, this week I'm going to kind of put you on the spot because, you know, Elimination Chamber is around the corner.
Right.
And I've been doing what a lot of fans, I think, do as a big PLE approaches, is you want to kind of put into context, hey, where have we been before, right? When it's Royal Rumble season, I enjoy watching old Royal Rumbles. Elimination Chamber is on the horizon. I decided to watch some old Elimination Chamber matches. Also because I like seeing when the new one comes out, are there any nostalgic recreated spots that they've done in the past, right?
Okay.
Or have they completely reinvented the way that they put together this very interesting gimmick match? So while I'm watching, I come across No Way Out 2008, an Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight title. You got Undertaker, Batista, Big Daddy Viscera, you've got Finley, you've got Montel Vontavious Porter, who was a guest on our show this week, and who else? Oh, and how could I forget? The Great Khali. I mean, it's a who's who of 2008 WWE in there. And I'm watching, and oh look, the in-ring official is my pal Jimmy Korderas. At one point, there's a falsie, not in the ring, but outside the ring on the steel grates. And you're down there and you're smacking it to make the count. And in my head, I'm thinking, ooh, that can't feel good on the hand. And the second the wrestler kicks out, you're shaking your hand like, ooh. And it wasn't even like it was a sell to the audience. It was like, no, that really sucked. And I thought, wow, there's a part of the Elimination Chamber I never took into consideration, is the physical effect on the official.
Yes, I wasn't selling it for the crowd. That was a legit shoot. I mean, anybody who's watched my matches, and you've watched Donnie before, I tend to be very forceful with my counts. I hit the canvas really hard. I mean, that's just how my brain is wired. Right. That's how I count. And going out on the steel grate, I'll tell you why I did it so hard on the steel grate, and people are going to say, well, couldn't you just ease up a little bit? Yeah, you could, but guess what? It looks like you're easing up. It goes back to several years prior. I was doing 24/7 hardcore match where falls counted anywhere in the arena. We were in Madison Square Garden, and I want to say it was Crash Holly versus maybe it was Al Snow, because Al Snow was in a ton of those. But anyways, they were fighting outside the garden. They were fought all the way down to, there's this ramp that goes all the way from the ground level all the way up to the arena level that we used to bring all the equipment up, which was a pain in the butt, you know. Anyways, that's a different story. So I'm counting and I'm easing up because they're on the concrete. And I hear in my earpiece Mr. Briscoe say, Jimmy, smack the concrete with your hand. And I'm like, is he ribbing me, or does he want me to do it? Because, he says, hit it. So you be forceful like you're in the ring. And I'm like, oh my God. And my hand was like aching. And then when I got back afterwards, he told me, he says, I know it hurts. I understand it hurts. But imagine what the other guys are going through, bumping all over chairs and tables and concrete floors. For you, it's only your hand. That'll heal. I'm like, okay. So that was my thought process in this chamber match. I figured falls count on the steel grate outside the ring as well. So if I'm going to count, you know what? These guys are bumping on that steel grate. They're getting thrown into the cage. You're seeing these guys bleed. Yeah, I'm going to suck it up for one night and not get any heat from anybody.
I almost feel like when they do these hardcore matches outside the ring, when they do these Elimination Chamber matches, the referees deserve a little bit of PPE. What about, like, you know, those mitts that baseball players wear when they want to slide into second?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You should get like a big padded mitt. Okay. Yeah. I'll make the count.
If we did that, it'd be so obvious.
I know.
Trust me, the heat that is not worth it. So, an ice pack or a heating pack will just be fine afterwards.
Oh man, you're putting yourself on the disabled list.
Yeah.
You remember anything in particular about that No Way Out Elimination Chamber match? I mean, it was oh my gosh, there was just so much beef in there.
Right. Like everybody was pretty much on board because, everybody goes over who's the order of coming out of the pods and that sort of thing. It just took a little more explanation for my good buddy Dalip, the Great Khali.
Yeah.
And every time they'd explain a spot to him that involved a pod getting thrown into it or the steel or the outer portion of the chamber,
right,
or even on the steel grade, he was like, you knew he was, what's he going to say? You know what I mean? Look who's in there. There's Undertaker, there's Fit, there's everybody like that. And he's like, you could say it was like, okay. It was almost like, hey, yeah, I guess so. What am I going to do? But every once in a while, it would almost be like that. No, explain. Like maybe hoping that they'll get tired of trying to explain it and they'll say, okay, never mind.
I'm looking at the match right now and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I know I can't remember. I'm trying to remember who actually went over in this thing.
Taker.
Was it?
Yep.
See, and
that was a great finish because they were fighting on the outside and it looked like Batista was going to give Taker his finish on the steel grade.
Oh, okay.
He had him up for like a tombstone and then they went back into the ropes and they flipped and they ended up in the reverse position and Taker tombstone Batista for the 1, 2, 3.
I'm literally seeing it right now. That's crazy. I forgot all about this finish. I wonder who booked that. I wonder who put that finish together.
I'm going to have to put my PS hat on and figure this out.
Oh. All right. Well, we'll dance and strut to the ring a little bit. Man, I'm watching that finish. You beat the hell out of the ring on that 3 count. You got a little mustard on it.
It's how I was wired. You know what I mean? It's just what I did. And, sometimes today, believe it or not, people think, how bad was it? My arm still aches to this day every once in a while. I wake up in the morning and have to stretch, try to get that shoulder working.
A lot of people, and this is something we could talk about in another episode, but a lot of people make comments about how Aubrey Edwards has kind of become Chris Jericho's personal referee. Mm-hmm. Or, certain referees always seem to be partnered with certain people. It feels like during this time period, you were always in the ring for The Undertaker.
Yes. And I don't know the exact reason why. I guess there was a comfort factor. Because one of the things, again, not trying to put myself over, is referees, you're not supposed to really cower away from heels or baby faces. You're supposed to be stoic. You're the enforcer of the rules. But at the same time, this is The Undertaker. There's a difference in showing a little bit of trepidation with him. And one of the things I was told by Mr. Briscoe was Vince at the time liked my reactions when he would just take a step towards me. It wasn't, I didn't try to do it over the top. It was one of those, oh, okay, I gotta be a little careful here kind of thing. But I don't know. Like I said, I guess there was a comfort factor there.
I love that. We can talk more about that another time, but Elimination Chamber, ladies and gentlemen, is around the corner. Jimmy Korderas and I will be there. If you are in the Greater Toronto Area, Southern Ontario, Western New York, or wherever you're traveling from, and you plan on going, you can still get tickets to the Rogers Center. Available at Ticketmaster.ca. That is Jimmy Korderas. I'm Donnie De Silva. This has been another installment of Story Time with Jimmy. Thanks, pal.
No problem, my friend.